Alright, welcome to the end. This is the final fights of Golden Sun. No save and quit. Really excited for you to be here for this final installment of the tutorial video series. Really appreciate anybody who's made it all the way through. And all the people who have just skipped straight to this video. Like, no shame. Welcome. Have a good time. The Saturos Menardi Fusion Dragon fight is really interesting. The strategies have evolved quite a lot since we first did the routing on this, and we eventually found a strategy called the Courthouse Strats. The Courthouse strategies are the most overpowered strategy in Golden Sun 1. The fact that it took me so long to devise these strats is a little bit shameful, but now that we have them, the answer is so obvious. This strategy offers the maximum damage per turn output without compromising on safety in any way, shape, or form. They are actually busted. The strategy is very simple. First turn, we use Vine, Judgment, Granite, and Ground. The second turn, we heal and prepare for the next Judgment. Rinse and repeat. Because Granite and Ground are both protection gen that basically have priority, and Mia will outspeed with Vine. This means that Isaac's going to go last and be able to summon Judgment with 4 Venus gen, and the fact that you can do this is actually insane. We'll see these strategies in effect in a moment, but that's where we're heading, to the Courthouse, and that's great. You may be wondering, why is it called the Courthouse Strats? Well, we keep handing down the judgments as a court would. Get it? I hope you get it. Anyway, let's dive into things. So, let's recall the position we left off, where we just came out of Venus 2, people are damaged, we have a Jinn in standby. You could have 2 sets of Jinn on standby depending on what happened. First thing we need to do is recover that 1 Jinn so we can do the menu. Obviously don't go up onto the final fight area, but at least walk here so that we can get some Jinn recovery. Alright, everybody's got Jinn now. Alright, what we're going to do is we want to get basically all the... we want to have 1 Venus per person, except for Isaac will have 2. Have Mia and Ivan set up so they're maximum tanky, and it all makes sense. So the way I do this is I do ground with Smog, ground with Quartz. You have a choice here, you can do ground on Garrett or ground on Ivan. I like ground on Ivan, but it's totally personal preference, so do whatever you want. Once we've done that, we can do Hail with... where am I doing this? Hail with Scorch, for instance. Doesn't really matter. We can do... I've totally lost my order now. That's totally fine. I've confused myself by talking, but that's fine. It's not too much of an effort, yeah. It's just need to move these Jinn around, and there we go. And now we're set up for Courthouse. Apologies for that gross menu, but this is the setup that we have. Mia in this class, so she's got Wish. Ivan in this class, so he's maximum tank. And we have a Boreas prepared for extra damage to finish off the Fusion Dragon. And otherwise, we're set up. And that's all there is to it. You can do the strategy with more Jinn, but you're not going to use any more Jinn than this, basically. Look at how much PP Mia has. Use Wish to heal people up. We have plenty of wishes in the tank left. There's at least 12 wishes there. Actually, more than that. There is 14 wishes. More than we'll ever need. Apparently Ivan was too tank. Okay. Next thing we need to do is distribute our Water of Lives. I'm fairly content to keep them on Mia, but if you're being really safe, I would give a Water of Life to the person who has ground. So I'm only giving Ivan the Water of Life because he has ground. If you left the water of if you left ground on Garrett, put the Water of Life on Garrett. But kind of up to you what you want to do. I think putting them on Mia and the ground person is the best, but up to you basically. Make sure the Gaia Blade is equipped to Isaac. That's really important because Gaia Blade is going to boost the power of our judgments. Recall that Gaia Blade has a plus 20 Venus power. That's going to result in like 100 extra damage off a 0 elemental boost judgment, which is quite helpful obviously to play out these fights. And that's about it. Really simple to set up. not too much requirements here. We have trash armor. It really doesn't matter because as you can recall from the previous videos, the only reason that armor is even a factor is in physical damage calculations. And that looks like this. The defense value is provided by armor. Every 2 defense points results in 1 less damage, which is pathetic. We're always going to either have flash or granite up, as you can see from the strategy above. So under a flash turn, a granite turn, sorry, the damage calculation will look like this. So it's divided by 4. So even though like a dragon scales is like a plus 40 defense, at the end of the day it only results in 11 damage less. So that's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, that's physical damage. Let's get into Courthouse. Let's get into the strategies. We are primed and good to go. There are plenty of ways these fights can go wrong, but hopefully it doesn't happen. Alright, welcome to the Saturos Menardi fight. The strategy here is Menardi is more dangerous than Saturos. Menardi has an ability called Death Size, and Death Size is the thing that kills runs. I've had more runs die to that ability than anything else in the game, but I'm particularly unlucky. Most people find Kraken more dangerous, so yeah. Death Size in theory should only proc 5% of the time, but I swear to god for me it procs like 20%, but that's the only ability that we really don't want to see. Anything else we can play around. It's totally fine. There are things that will slow the fight down. Healing will slow the fight down. Resist boost will slow the fight down. Haunting could slow the fight down if Isaac dies, but that's pretty much it. So, with that in mind, let us begin. So Courthouse is very simple. Use Vine. Summon Judgment. We're going to target Judgment on Menardi. We want Menardi dead first. We will try and do it optimally, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Always target Menardi if you don't know what you're doing. We're going to throw up a granite, I'm going to throw up ground. Always ground Menardi. You really don't want her to use Death Size or anything nasty, so always ground Menardi. So ground will incapacitate Menardi. Granite will protect us. Vine will slow these two down. Protect is completely irrelevant, we don't care about that. And we'll throw the first Judgment in. Great. Next turn, usually we would use Wish, but in this instance we don't need to use Wish because we're already at full HP. Using a synergy to do damage here is not worth it, so we're just going to defend with Mia. We'll use Flint on, it doesn't really matter who we use it on. We'll use it on Saturos, we'll use Flash, and we'll use Mars. We can throw it into Menardi or Saturos, it doesn't really matter. Flare Storm is totally fine. Again, we don't want to see Death Size. That's the only thing we don't want to see. Okay, we don't want to see Break either. Break is bad, but that's okay. And that's the Courthouse. So alternating those two turns endlessly is the fastest way to beat these fights in a safe manner. So let's talk a little bit about optimal targeting. In an ideal world, you target Menardi, Saturos, Menardi, Menardi. With Judgment. The reason why we do this is that at the final Judgment, Menardi and Saturos will both die simultaneously, and that's fantastic. However, this strategy only works if no breaks, or res up. So in this case, we got broken, so we can't do this strategy anymore. That's going to add 2 turns to the fight. That loses about a minute, which is kind of a shame. I'm yet to get a fight with perfect RNG, but I know it's possible. I've had perfect RNG in Fusion Dragon, so it's just a matter of getting all the RNG to line up in a good way. But anyway, point being, this is the fastest way to clear the Saturos Menardi fight. Menardi, Saturos, Menardi, Menardi. However, if you get broken, then just target Menardi, Menardi, Menardi. So Judgment on Menardi, 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 Menardi until Menardi dies, and then Saturos. So in this case, I'm just going to keep targeting Menardi, because we really do not want you to get any actions off in this fight. So as you can see, you can get through this menu really fast. You can just go to the battle arena and grind this menu out, because it's really applicable to a lot of things. I've seen Bowie the Hero do this strategy on Star Magician and have it work. right? He did Star Magician at like level 30 using this strategy. It is absurdly busted. May not be optimal for Star Magician, but it is very, very, very strong and potent. Wow, Saturos, would you like to stop with using Break, please? So again, I would use Wish, but we don't need to use it. Use Quartz, it doesn't matter what we use Quartz on. Quartz is basically only being used because we need to use a Djinn. If we had something better than Quartz, we'd use it, but we don't. Rinse and repeat. What's Menardi going to use here? Attack. Attack is totally fine, we don't care about attack. Haunt. Haunt's kind of annoying. Evil Spirit grips Isaac. I'd rather that didn't happen. I'd like to talk about this later on. Script Garrett. Okay, cool. We'll talk about the Spirit and the Fusion Dragon fight, because that's more likely where it's going to impact you. So fast forward to the video if you want to see that. But I'm just going to assume we're not going to get haunted in this fight, because it's really quite rare. Judgment... The haunt would just be played around it like anything else. It wouldn't change the strategy, it just may slow things down because Isaac might die. We'll explain why that's the case in a little bit, but yeah, something to look forward to. Continuing with our Courthouse strategy, continuing to summon Judgment. Okay, I think at this point I'm going to use Wish, because I might as well. I'm really worried about Menardi not dying, so I'm going to throw more damage into Menardi. You really, really, really want Menardi to die. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Menardi is the only way you lose this fight. Flare Storm, thank god. Okay, so Menardi's being very kind, but Saturos is doing his best jerk impression. Right, no break, so that's good. I think another break would have cost an additional turn. That would have been really annoying. So even in this turn, where in theory I could use Judgment on Menardi and have her die, I'm still going to ground Menardi, just in the off chance that I don't kill. With so many breaks being used, I'm not sure if she dies or not. And if she doesn't die, I'm opening myself up to something going wrong. And I've had that happen in a run before, so... I always like to be safe, because at this point in the run, you're probably on good pace and you just don't want to lose it, right? Okay, Menardi died, that's fantastic. Alright, so we're gonna do one more turn here. Well, two more turns. Break. Okay, that's kind of annoying. I don't think that matters, though. He's really trying to make this as slow as possible today. That's really quite frustrating. That's okay. Fine. Oops. Judgment. This should kill. It should. Knock on wood. Yay, we did it. Alright, let's go back a little bit. Okay. What I want to talk about now is, how do you recover from a bad situation in this fight? Well, it's really quite tricky. Courthouse is relatively restrictive in your ability to make recoveries, simply because you have to stick to this turn order, or things go wrong. The way you can get around that is by replacing Judgment with a Sibel, and freeing up this Vine here for something else. So if you need to revive, you know, you can use a Water of Life in this position, make this a Sibel, and whoever's dead here can be revived or whatever. The other way to get around it is you can use... Sometimes Isaac will die, and then you can Water of Life here, Water of Life under Flash, and then you just make up whatever you have to do on this turn to recover. Keep in mind though that with Vine active, Isaac's not going to be protected by the Water of Life, by Flash, sorry. So even though we have Flash on Mia, Garrett, and Ivan, Isaac would come back without that protection, so you're still basically gambling to see whether he lives or not. It's basically all you can do, unfortunately. If Mia dies, well, we have whoever has ground. In this case, it is Ivan, oops, in this case it's Ivan, he's got the Water of Life, you can try healing and just do what you can, right? I'm going to be upfront and say that if somebody dies, you're not going to have a fun time in this fight. It can be recoverable, just keep trying. Just keep trying to cycle Jin, keep trying to keep as much protection up as possible, and that's all you can do. If Death Size hits somebody and it procs and they die, sometimes you just have to accept that the run's going to die right then and there, and that's just the category that we play here. So keep that in mind, but you do have a couple of outs. Keep in mind that Mia has heal, keep in mind that you may have some stray healing items on people if you need to heal, and keep in mind that sometimes you won't be able to summon Flash. If you can't summon Flash for whatever reason, just keep in mind you can always set the Jin back on Garrett, right? That is a valid play. Sometimes not being able to use Mars with Ivan is okay. You can still on the following turn use Ground and then set Flash with Garrett, and that might be enough to get you through the fight, right? Just keep all of these tricks at the back of your sleeve for when things go wrong. That's kind of all you can do, unfortunately, so yeah, keep that all in mind. Alright, so that's Saturos Menardi. Not too much we can do, just hope that the strategy works. I mean, the strategy is pretty good. It's obviously very good because we, why is this not skipping? There we go. It's obviously very good because we do speedruns with it, and it has a very, very high success rate. So, yeah, give it your best. So now we're going to move to Fusion Dragon. Fusion Dragon is going to follow the exact same strategy. We're still going to use Courthouse. The only difference is going to be that Fusion Dragon is going to kill us in different ways, so we'll cover what those ways are. Alright, Fusion Dragon. So as I alluded to, this Haunted Spirit is something that we're going to talk about. So we'll get the Saturos Menardi stuff off screen. We'll talk about Fusion Dragon, we'll talk about Evil Blessing. It imposes the Haunt Curse, or whatever it is, or Haunted status. Haunt is a 12.5% chance to deal 25% damage back to the user when dealing damage. So what does this mean? It means that, i.e. if Isaac is haunted, there is a 12.5% chance that he dies after using Judgment. That's basically the consequence. Judgment's going to be dealing like 600 to 700 damage, possibly, no, it deals up to 1,000 damage, what am I talking about? Deals about 1,000 damage, a quarter of that damage back to Isaac is an instant kill. Look, I only have 183 HP, absolutely nothing I can do about it. So Evil Blessing is kind of the main way that people will die. So if Isaac gets haunted, well, the fate's in the hands of RNGesus at that point, so keep that in mind. The other thing to keep in mind in this fight is Severe Blow. Severe Blow can instantly take someone's HP down to 1, so if you get Severe Blowed on a flash turn into Dragon Driver or something that attacks the person who got taken to 1 HP, that person can die in that instance as well. It's kind of the only other way that things go wrong, so kind of between those two things, that's basically it. Otherwise, we're just doing vanilla Courthouse. Okay. So how does the Courthouse strat work? Well, the idea is that you do 3 judgments, then Boreas Judgment. Pretty straightforward, actually. Let's try and get us on one line. Yeah, there we go. So if you don't get broken, this strategy will work. So you do Judgment, Judgment. Then on the next turn, which would normally be a turn like this, you replace the Wish with a Boreas. And then on the final turn you can use Judgment to finish off the fight. This strat will also work with a Sibel, so if you do if you do 2 boosted Judgments and a Sibel, the strat will also work. These caveats are noted in the notes, by the way, so just check out the notes. But that's basically the plan here, right? Try to get off as many as we can, and go from there. So, let's get into the fight, let's do it, and let's see how bad it can be. So, we're starting here off a flash turn, which is fine. Sometimes you won't be starting on a flash turn, sometimes you'll be starting on a judgment turn. Judgment turns save about 30 seconds, so don't worry too much about that. So I could use Wish with Mia if I really needed to. I don't need to because Isaac's HP is still relatively fine. And away we go. Evil Blessing, good start. Yep, that's fine. We will do a couple of bad fights with the Fusion Dragon just to round out the education, but we'll see if we can get through a fight without bad things happening. Alright, let's see what he's gonna do now. Dragon Driver. Dragon Driver is always good to see. Dragon Driver is by far and away the best ability for him to use because it does pretty much no damage and has no chance of killing anyone, which is fantastic. More Dragon Driver, perfect. This fight's actually going very well. So I'm going to get my boosted judgment off now, so that's actually really helpful. That will allow me to go for the quick kill, as long as you get one of these guys off, so that's good. Fantastic. Oh, no proc. That's interesting. That could have procced and put me on 1 HP. In fact, I am going to make a save state there. Because I may want to visit that as a potential scenario that you're going to have to play around. So we'll keep that in mind for later. I'm going to keep doing this, so this is great. This is the third judgment, so after this we can actually go into Boreas and go for the kill. That's kind of nice. Perfect. Yeah, this is actually a perfect fight. That's insane. So as I mentioned, we've got 3 judgments off. We can now go for our Boreas. We could even skip summoning Mars if we wanted to, if we were feeling that ballsy. But I would never do that in a run, because the time loss from Mars is worth it to not lose the run to something silly. Get this Boreas off in there. Nice. This is a perfect fight. Wow. And then we can just finish off with Judgment. Easy. If you look at his HP in the top left, you could probably see that I could finish this with a Ramses or something. Usually you don't get this much damage off into him, so this is kind of unusual. If you feel ballsy, you can try a Ramses. But it also illustrates that a Sibel would also suffice in this instance. Boom, that's the fight. Easy peasy. Done. Congrats, you made it to the end of the speedrun. You did it. But let's see what happens if things go wrong. I want to go through a couple of contingency strategies that you can employ. We'll come back to this because there's a little time saver at the end that we need to be aware of, but let's come back to this instance here. So this first instance is... I just manipulated the RNG so that Mia got severe blowed. So as you can see, that is a problem. That is a huge problem because a light breeze will kill Mia from this position. So that's a huge problem. How do we play around a situation like this? Well, if you're in a situation where either someone is in critical HP like Mia is right now, or if you get poisoned across everybody, because poison is a thing that this guy has as well, if you have 3 people poisoned, you may be taking too much damage to safely survive a granite turn. So the out here is to use Wish and start summoning Sibel over Judgment. If you have a healing item on Mia, like a vial or a potion, you can also use the vial or potion to heal up. This is a little bit dicey. Perhaps I should have used a stronger healing item, but just so we're all on the same page, this is what you can do to recover from a bad situation. Right, now Mia's gonna die, isn't she? Nice. No, she lived. Fantastic. She could have died. And then we can keep using Wish in place of anything else, and just kind of recover the fight from that scenario. So, the recovery strat, let's write this down so we're all on the same page. Recovery strat is basically identical to this, but we replace this Vine with an additional Wish, replace this Judgment with Sibel, basically. This is your recovery strat. This gets you through things like we just illustrated. Lots of poison, somebody getting severe blowed. I guess we should also put or heal. That could be something in here as well. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do there, but that's kind of the thing, right? So just to illustrate what I mean by that, we can have the severe blow proc again. Mia has got some vials. I thought she had a potion, but I think maybe Ivan or Isaac has the potion. Use a vial that can heal up more HP in a situation like this. That would probably be a more smart move than using Wish. But basically, you can start summoning Sibel. You may have to be a little bit more conservative with the Boreases and whatnot. The damage is noted in the notes, and you can kind of do math here to work it out. The Fusion Dragon has 5,000 HP, so you can kind of math it out how much more damage you need to do, but keep that in mind. So that's the thing. If somebody dies, it can be a little bit tricky to navigate. Same deal though, use this Water of Life, or the Water of Life with Ivan as you need to. Just try and survive, try and get back on the courthouse to the best of your ability. That will again mean potentially setting Flash instead of summoning so you can get off a Water of Life. Just do everything in your power to try and get everybody alive on one turn. The moment you can get everybody alive on one turn, buckle down with safety, do as much safe things as you possibly can, and then get back into Courthouse as soon as possible. That should be your #1 priority when things go wrong. But that's really it, right? So Saturos Menardi Fusion Dragon, use the Courthouse strategies, use the recovery strategy if you need to, if you're in a dire situation. Focus on trying to get everybody alive for one turn before returning to Courthouse proper, and just do everything in your power to obtain that situation. And that's pretty much all the advice I can offer for these fights. It's really cool that we have a strategy this powerful. It will take a little bit of practice, it will take a little bit of familiarity to outplay some of these bad situations, but that is in essence all we have to do here. If things go according to plan, you can get through these fights really, really quickly. Alright, I mentioned there was one last thing we need to do. We'll get through these cutscenes here. RIP Shiba. And we get to Farran's house. Cutscenes, cutscenes, cutscenes. Cool. Alright. So the very last thing we have to do here is a small frame saver. I'll point it out to you. So basically, if we try to leave, this cutscene happens. However, if we just go and talk... If we go and talk to Farran... We talk to Farran. Hello? Hello? Why did I talk to him? I think the cutscene's bugs because of the skip. Okay, fine, whatever. Now, okay, interesting. Now talk to Farran and leave, and then you skip that cutscene. So that's the frame saver. If you don't speak to Farran... Interesting. Interesting. I don't know what's happening here. It must be a remnant of a bug, but basically the point is, talk to him, leave, and away you go. Cutscenes, 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 get the black orb. Talk to this guy. Get through. Zoom, 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 zoom. One last frame saver. Right when you're about here on the second to last rung here, press select to open the menu instead of A. Use the black orb. Note where the black orb goes. It'll either go to Mia or Isaac. Use the black orb. And trigger the final set of cutscenes in the game. So time is on this final yes/no text box. Since there's all these frame savers, we actually do count the time going to this point, even though there is nothing meaningful happening here. There are 2 frame savers that we should do. Alright, here's the last series of text boxes. Cutscenes are off, yes, we'll be fine. Shall we then? 2C. Jenna is waiting for us. Once you clear this text box, time is called. You have completed the speedrun. Congratulations. And well done. We did it. Congrats. And that is the Golden Sun No 7 Quit tutorial. I can't believe we're here. It took much longer than I thought, but hey, we did it. I think this category is quite cool. It's a lot better than it used to be. Tons of interesting RNG and routing, and the speedrun has it all, so it's kind of great like that. I hope you enjoy the speedrun. We're going to do one more video after this. We're going to do a quick recap of some last minute tips and tricks and things that I'm thinking of. Probably not going to be a substantial video at all, but yeah, this is it. This is Golden Sun. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you ever do a speedrun of this game, pop by the Discord, throw a message into the Discord that you're going to do an attempt. I want to watch. I love watching people play Golden Sun. But yeah, I hope that this encourages you to start speedrunning this game. This category is really accessible. I think anybody can do it. I think if you are dedicated enough and put the time in, anybody can get a sub 4 time. That's kind of crazy. Like, this game takes like 20 hours casually. You can get it down under 4 without much effort. So right, that'll be this video. We will return for one more installment later on. But for now, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.